Hello ladies and gentlemen, I am Kevin Olson from TextLearn.com and this is lesson 2.4 of the Intro to Java series. We are going to be discussing scanners. So first things first, what is a scanner? Scanners are objects in Java which allow us to take user input and store that input in a variable. So for example, if we wanted the user to type in a number, we could have them type in a number. We could use system.out.println with the message that says, please enter a number. And then we would go ahead and use the scanner to determine what number they entered and store that number that they entered into a variable. And then we can go ahead and perform computations based on that input text that they put into our program. This diagram over here on the right, I have developer packages down here. I just wanted to say that Oracle creates their own packages, classes, and methods which make up the official Java API. So you can think of Java API kind of as this large collection of objects that you can just import into your program and then use. So a scanner is one of these types of objects that we can get from the Java API. And it is imported using what is called an import statement. These are statements that go at the beginning of your Java class file, and we will get into that in a moment. Then once they're imported into our program, we're able to use them to do things. So without further ado, let's get started here. Let me bring up my VirtualBox with Eclipse in it, and I just want to show you let's go take a look at the Java API because I don't believe I've discussed that with you too much. Just Google Java API, first result that comes up, and this is for version 7, but it's pretty much identical to version 8. Not too many changes that we need to worry about. So here are all the packages and all the classes that the Java API has. So we can actually go ahead and use any of these things and include them in our program. So we don't have to program our own versions of these objects. We don't have to create our own scanner object because Java already gives us one. So that saves us a lot of time. Oops, I did not mean to do that. Let me see here. I'm looking for the Find in Page button, but I can't do that because, okay, scanner. You can see there's a few different kinds of scanners, and that's the one I'm looking for, is scanner. So class scanner, and that's located in java.util.scanner, and you can get a description of what it does along with all the different functions that it provides for us. I'm not going to go into all that right now. I just want us to pay attention to a couple things from this. We're going to create a new scanner, and we are going to initialize it using the system input stream, and that means whatever text the user enters into the console. And we are also going to close the scanner when we're done with it using this close methods. So two key methods there are we're going to initialize it and we're going to close it. The other thing is the next int method here. And as you can see, the description here scans the next token of the input as an int. So we're going to be able to use this next int function, or method I should call it. This is Java, and we'll be able to use next int to get the next integer that the user types in. Alright, so let's go into Eclipse, and I will create a new Java project. I'm going to call this scanner demo. Just finish that. I'm going to add a new class to this project, and I will call this scanner demo as well, and give it a main method. Okay, so we need to import statements go at the top of the class. So we need to tell Java that we are going to be using the scanner object. And how do we do that? Well, we need to do import, so we just type import. And then we have to find that location for the object that we're importing. And if we look at scanner in the Java API here, it says java.util.scanner, util, java.util.scanner. And did I do that right? Let's see what the quick fix says. Nope, I did not type scanner. Capitalization is very important. So now that is correct, of course. So now we have the scanner object in our program and we're able to use it. So now we just have to prompt for user input. So what I'm going to do is, for our demo here, we're going to create a program which asks the user to enter an integer value, and we will then use that to compute the area of a circle. So let's look for that. Area of a circle formula, I believe it is pi r squared, and I was correct. System out println, please enter a radius. So we're going to ask the user to enter a radius. Now we have to create our scanner. Alright, so scanner, this is how we do it. We have to say what type of object we're creating. So we're creating a scanner, then we have to name the object, user input. I like to call my scanners user input because this way I know that this is what the user input, that's what the scanner is for. Then we do equals. So this is kind of similar to how we created an integer before. You know, it would be integer, and then we give the integer an identifier, and then we set it to equal to some value. We're doing pretty much the same thing here, except we're creating a scanner instead of an integer. Now this is important here, this new keyword. The new keyword indicates to Java that we are creating a new scanner object. So we don't already have a scanner object anywhere in our program, so we have to make a new one. New scanner. So this is going to be a brand new scanner, and then we have to initialize the scanner with a parameter. This is the constructor parameter, and that was going to be system.in. Don't have to worry too much about that right now. I'm going to discuss more about this type of stuff once we get to the object-oriented programming. I believe that is in topic 7, so we got a ways to go. So just for now, know that we create a new scanner using this syntax: scanner, scanner name equals new scanner, and then we put system.in. So that means that we are reading the input stream. So we have our scanner created, and now we can get the value. So we do integer radius is equal to user input dot next int, and we have to keep those. We can put a parameter in there, but we don't need one in this case, so we just leave that like it is, and we end the statement with a semicolon. So now we have the radius stored into this integer variable that we are using to hold the radius. Now we can perform computations. So we'll do int area is equal to 3, and this is going to be way off. 3, so pi times the radius times the radius. And I'm doing it like this because I wanted to show you how to use integers. We should really be using doubles here because to get more accurate results, but just for the sake of the demonstration, we'll leave it like that for now. And then we do system out println, the area is plus area. Okay, let's go ahead and, oops, I forgot to do one very important thing. Close the scanner. Whenever we are done using a scanner, we want to close it. And this is just telling Java to close a scanner. We're done reading the input stream. We don't want to leave that open. Otherwise, all types of weird memory issues can arise. So, user input dot close. Oops. Dot close. Okay, so we close this scanner. Now we can go and run this. Please enter a radius. I'll enter 10. The area is 300. Alright, so as you could see, it was able to take 10. It multiplied 10 times 10 and got 100. Then it multiplied that by 3 to get the area being 300. Now let's go back and modify this a little bit to use doubles instead. So now we'll do double radius is equal to user input. And instead of using next int, we'll use next double. And you can see there that instead of using the next int method, the next double method will of course find the next double that the user enters into the input stream. And we can say double area equals math.pi. And we can use this math object. It provides a constant pi. So Java has stored in it the approximate value of pi to a certain number of decimal places. I don't really care how many or how accurate it is, but I know it's a lot more accurate than just 3.14159. And then we can go ahead and multiply math.pi times the radius, so pi r squared, and print out the area and close the scanner. Let's run that. We enter our radius again, 10, and then it says the area is 314.15. And we really should add units squared to the end of that, just for proper math talk. And as you can see, I run the program again, enter a different number in, and now we have a calculator basically that will calculate the area of any circle when you enter a radius into it. Let's see, did I forget anything else? We talked about the import statement, we talked about creating and using the scanner, and we talked about closing the scanner. Okay, so the review exercise for this section is to try to create a calculator, and I want you to create a calculator where we have the user enter the first value and then they enter the second value, so these should be doubles, and then we compute the sum, the product, the quotient, and the remainder for those values. So we take, in this example, the first value entered was 100, the second one was 10. So the sum, of course, would be 110. The product, that's multiplication, would be 1,000. The quotient would be 10, that's dividing. And the remainder, in this case, would be 0. So just create a calculator that uses the scanner to get these two double values. You can call them x and y. You can call them whatever you want to. And go ahead and create that program to make sure you're understanding this whole scanner concept and to review the arithmetic portion that we talked about back in the beginning of this topic. All right, if you have any questions, run into any problems, leave a comment, send me a message, or I would prefer it if you go to textlearn.com, register, and post a question in the forums. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care.